What's up, guys? It's Coop. So today, super excited, we are going to be talking about the ramp truck. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting on it. Here it is. This is mine. Super fun rig. I like it a lot. Not meant for hardcore crawling or trailing. This is for you scale guys out there. A lot of people have been asking, you know, like for size comparison or whatever. This is a C10 wheelbase. Boom, there you go. It's on stock axles, so it's the perfect width there. But if you want to get a little crazy, this rig here is a little bit over 200 millimeter wheelbase, and it also fits. So you can put pretty much whatever you want on here, within reason of width. That one has the Mias ISO V2s on it, and it still fits on here pretty good. I'm sure there are some of you who have rigs that are super wide. They're probably not going to fit, just width wise. But yeah, so there's that. Let's show you what all you get in the kit. So you will receive the bed, which this comes in two pieces. You can see in here, there's these little pins. They push through to this side. I'd put them in this side first, pop them through, and then pop the end on. And personally, I chose to do this before I painted. That way I could just paint it all together. But if you wanted to, if your paint booth is smaller or whatever, you can keep it separated, and then paint it after the fact, or put it together, assemble it after the fact. Now I have not glued this one yet, but what I would recommend doing is putting a little bit of glue right there on that and on this side, on both sides here. So 4 little dabs of glue, keep this together forever. If you really wanted to, let me pull this back apart so you can see it. So there's the pins that push through, that go into these holes. If you wanted to, you could probably add a couple little dabs of glue there to really hold it together good. But either way, there you go. You get the bed. You will get the storage box that also has the servo mount for an NSDRC RS40. That's a mouthful. For their servo winch, it will glue on here. It does not screw on or anything like that. It is glued onto the bed there. On there you'll see, I gotta bust the supports out of that one, but that is where your fair lead right there, that is stainless, will mount, and there's those 2 bolts, and then you'll see the larger bolt with the stainless steering wheel that will go on the cab. And speaking of the cab, let's show you that. So what I've done to give it a little more rigidity for the shipping process is I went ahead and attached the roof for you, and I put in the interior. The interior does just glue in. There are some alignment tabs in there. They're printed and they're little. They can't be big for something this small. So if you break them, it's not the end of the world, because you're supposed to glue this thing in anyway. But if you want to take this apart because you're going to be painting it, it comes out like this. So the back, press down and then kind of press up a little bit on the front. That's how you get out your interior. That way, also, if you need to take the roof off because you'd like to do like I did on this one and paint the roof a different color, so you don't have to tape it off, the roof does come off with those 4 screws that are up in there. As far as the steering wheel goes, you got your little hole right there for it. Thought this was pretty neat because, like, I got it to where we've got full interior doors with the handles and all that. Something to note is this thing is pretty detailed. There is some stuff that's not absolutely perfect with the print. It is as perfect as I could get it. I spent probably 2 weeks just printing this cab alone over and over and over and over again to get it as clean as I possibly could. There's some stuff like right around the windows where some of the supports were, like I don't know why that's, I don't know if it'll show up like that for you guys, but it's like wavy right there. Weird. I hope that shows up for you in a way so y'all don't think I'm crazy, but anyways, but yeah, there's some things that, you know, you're gonna have to sand, you're gonna have to clean it up just like any other body. Just expect that. It's not perfect, it's not ready to slap together and be a show build. Like, you're gonna have to put in a little bit of work on it. Not a ton, but just a little bit. But yeah, and then, you know, putting the interior back in, you'll put it in with the front first, like put the front facing kind of angled down, and then you'll be able to click it in like that. And like I said, there is a little alignment tabs, but I don't know how long they'll last for you. But once you're all said and done, then glue it in. And there you go. Let's see, what else do we got? So, the chassis, everything else. The only other thing you're gonna need for this is, you know, your tools, your glue, your paint, and a stock SCX24. When doing this, you're gonna go ahead and disassemble the whole SCX24 down to pretty much what I would recommend doing. Go along your stock rail and take out every bolt down both sides. Keep those little bolt screws, whatever we want to call them, keep them to the side, get you a little bin to put them in, and save them because you will use some of them again, a lot of them again. Especially the little ones, like all of the little pieces here, like your front body mount, your bump stops that also serve as a shock mount, your E-tray back here, all of that is going to be used, you know, assembled with, as you can see, the little black screws that come with the stock 24. The transmission, I will include two, they are 6mm screws, just because this transmission is a little bit thicker than the stock one and it wouldn't work to use the little screws that come with the stock one. So I will include those for you. As far as the upper links go, I will include the nuts for those. I'll go ahead and include the screws for those too, just so we can make sure that you got some that are long enough. And other than that, everything else is going to be, no, one other thing that I will include screws for is, in order to get the drive shafts to reach, I will be including those two, as you can see them here, 1, 2, the drive shaft extensions. I will include the hardware for that as well. But yeah, that's what it looks like. The process that I would recommend doing is taking just your rails, and once you've got your SCX24 disassembled, leave everything attached to the axles. Like I said, you're just taking off the rails. Go ahead and attach your upper links to the rail. Makes it so much easier rather than having to try to do it after the fact when you've put everything in and fighting around it. So put the uppers on first, then you're gonna put your skid in. When you put the skid in, you have to put the sliders on as well, see, because that screw goes through that slider into the rail, into the skid. Once you've done that, there is holes here on the side to mount your lower links. The lower links will use the same screw that comes out of the stock skid, mounting those lower links. After that, all the other stuff being, you know, the bump stop, shock mount, front body mount, and the E-tray, you can put those in kind of whenever you want to put them in. What I did not put in just yet is the front and rear cross members. I have to put those in, and I don't have any sitting right here. But those are self-explanatory, and they will also use the stock hardware, the little 5mm stock hardware that most of your little screws will be these little guys here. So that's that. It's pretty self-explanatory as far as that goes. It's gonna go back together the same way you took the other one apart. I touched on the couple things that are slight discrepancies, being, you know, the upper links, having to use a nut to hold them now, and the sliders. Yeah, there you go. Brain wasn't working for a second. I'm messing with this front drive shaft. So like I said, this rig is not meant for actually crawling it. Like, I never intended for that to be the case for it. This is supposed to be something that is scale and just for fun, and, you know, for driving around showing off in some videos, or for your friends or whatever. Just a fun build. The front drive shaft can be a little tricky, so make sure that your transmission is mounted good, because if it's wiggling at all, there's not, even with the extension on here, it is a very close fit. And so if your transmission's not mounted, you know, solid and stable, then it's gonna wiggle, and it may give it enough room for that front drive shaft to fall out, which you would not want. So just make sure your transmission is mounted solid. I had that happen whenever I was in testing with this, and I was like, what is going on? And then I realized, like, oh, you just didn't tighten any of the screws down on your transmission, so it's not sitting where it needs to sit. Let's see. And I just realized that I needed to put it back in. And don't we all just love messing with drive shafts? So make sure you do that right so you don't have to fool with it. But yeah, there we go. Everything's there. This is the part, like I said, assembling the chassis is what it is. It is pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, hit me up. Let's get into doing the rest of it. So I left this attached to here just so you guys could see. It's just stuck on there with like some sticky glue, like tape stuff. And you can use a knife, but be careful, don't cut your finger off. I'm not responsible for it if you do, because I'm gonna show you that it is possible without a knife. So you pop that off. Try to get it to where the sticky stuff stays on this side so that you can reuse it. The way that I designed this to be oriented is with this part that's like kind of like your receiver on the driver's side, so facing out at you like this, and it can sit right in between the rails. And if you leave that sticky stuff on there, then there you go. It sticks on there for you really nice, and then you still got access. You use a fingernail right here, turn it on, turn it off, you know, so you can still get to that pretty easy. Let's see. Let's get the cab. It will, you see there's that little slot in there. The chassis rails slide into that. Now I have not put the magnets on this chassis yet, but it does come with the magnets. You would put a magnet there, and a magnet there, so that when you slide these together, it will magnet and hold itself. The bed is very similar. It's slotted right here. That is where you would slide the bed on. And I forgot to put those cross members on this. I'm trying not to bend the rail, but it slides on. The first couple times may take a little bit of effort on your part, but it slides on and then slips over those sliders. And that's why the sliders are so big. I just thought it would look way cleaner like this, where it covered up the whole bottom. But yeah, like I said, there's no magnets on this one at the moment. But if you guys didn't notice on the, I'll take this back off. Well, I'll show you on this one because it has the magnets. So, take that off. Take that off. See those magnets on the skid? They go forward, so that's how you'll know. Also, the orientation of the chassis, if I haven't said it already or if you haven't noticed, this is like angled farther down. That is the rear. So that slides on and clips on. Now it's magneted, magnetized, magneted, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Same thing here. Pop that on. Now it's magneted. You're good to go. I gotta glue that better. Look at that. But yeah. So I really don't know why it's all wiggly like that, but whatever. But anyways.
Someone is at the front door.
Oh, somebody's here to see me. There you go. Hold on. I'm gonna see who's at the front door. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I didn't know my wife had ordered something from Walmart and they were dropping it off. Anyways, honestly, this all black looks kind of sick. Oh, that's not glued on. I'm digging that. That looks super good. I may just leave it all black. Heck yeah, I like that. But yeah, there you go, guys. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Just trying to think over any other little things. If for some reason there's a lot of supports on this, if for some reason I did happen to forget somewhere, like I just noticed that I didn't grab those supports there, just grab you like a little pick or something like that and you can pick them out. None of them are that hard. If you end up breaking it while you're taking them out, then let me know and we'll figure it out. But once again, that right there is where you would mount your fair lead that is included with the screws. And there you go. That'll glue on. I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions, let me know. Hope you guys enjoy. This will be releasing this coming Friday. Not sure what that date is, but what is today? Today is the 1st? I don't know. So anyways, it'll release on Friday. And I'm excited to see what you guys build with it. Thank y'all for hanging out with me.